All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Wellness Wednesday Inspiration. My name is Fernanda. I'm here with Dr. Linda Marquez, and today's topic is actually quite interesting. We have an expert, an amazing guest with us today. His name is Eduardo, and I will let Dr. Linda give you guys a little bit more background information on Eduardo. But it's a topic that has been on my radar for some time, and so I'm pretty excited about just talking about it, getting to know even more about it, and just sharing Eduardo's information and expertise with all of you. So super excited. And my background is a little bit different outside of the house. So I do apologize in advance if the reception on my end is choppy. The internet is not very reliable. So I do apologize for that if there is moments where I go in and out. But I'm excited to be here with all of you today. And Dr. Linda, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you. I know, but you're out on adventures all the time. So we make it work. And I know it's hard, like the last couple times you were out in the middle of the Amazon, and I would expect no one to like even try to, communicate with anyone outside, especially when you're, out in such an amazing place. But I'm glad that we can definitely get together this week, as every week, and bringing information to our guest. And I know for both of us, plant medicines, or even just working to be the better version of ourselves, has been, I think that's what drives us, really, the both of us. And it's just great how there's no accidents in life, and how we met, and how it's just like, oh, we talk about things, and it's like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about that. Or it's like we're reading each other's minds. So we're definitely on the same vibrational frequency. So that's always such a blast when when we can do that, right? It's just like, oh, I was just thinking that. But today is going to be amazing and special, because we both have experience with this. And the interesting thing is that the use of plant medicines has skyrocketed, especially here in the States within the last few years, because there's so many people that are looking for cures to a lot of ailments, from PTSD to, cancer, depression, anxiety, all these neurological disorders that a lot of the traditional medicine can't cure. However, the only cure comes from within. So we can't even really say that there's a drug or a plant medicine that cures that at all. It's your body's own innate natural ability that does do that, and under the proper circumstances. However, everything that we do impacts how our body actually can heal itself. So everything that we put in our body, in our mouth, our thoughts, if we talked a lot about that. And no different is working with the plant medicines. So, there's so many people now that, are flocking outside of the US, and really going down to the Amazon to work with, especially ayahuasca, which we've had experience with that. And, but prior to ayahuasca, there's a lot of people, especially in the indigenous countries, and we'll let our guest explain that they've used Kambo. So for a lot of the tribes to go out there, and before they go out and are looking for, going out and bringing what they need to bring back from the jungle to survive in the family. So it's interesting, as I was researching this, that, Kambo is actually also known as the vaccine of the forest, which I did not know. So I thought that was interesting because of its purgative effects, and it has some immune boosting factors as well. And so it's gotten a lot of attention because how it's impacted chronic pain, drug dependence. And personally, when I've worked with it and been around other people that have worked with it, they saw how their body changed as a result of that. So some would say, and I'm not saying this, but I am saying it, that some people do say that, it has anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, antibiotic, anesthetics type of effects from the plant. So our guest today, he is a certified advanced Kambo practitioner, and Eduardo is just really fun, like researching him. He's been trained in a lot of different modalities, from Reiki to using sacred tobacco, rape, And what's interesting with him is, as many practitioners that work with the sacred medicines, it's a calling for them. And intuitively, I think this was his calling since he was a kid. And I want him to share about that. But what I really liked about him is just reading up. He's very cerebral, but he's also very spiritual. And when you blend those together, it's amazing. So he has a master's degree in law. He's fluent in Spanish, Italian, and German. So I'm excited to have him on. And so if we want to bring our guests, y'all want to welcome Eduardo as he shares his mission and why he started working with Kambo.
Of course. Eduardo, how are you? Welcome.
Thank you very much, Fernanda, Linda, Dr. Linda. It's really beautiful to be here. And as you were mentioning, Linda, there's no coincidences in life. I do believe that everything happens for a reason, and you are right. You are right. I mean, we start flocking together with the like-minded people, and this is beautiful. It's really beautiful to be here to share with you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here and taking the time. And you and I had an experience
Yes.
not too long ago, and it was a beautiful experience for me. And that's when I asked you, hey, would you be interested to share a little bit about your knowledge and expertise with our audience? And so I want to start off by maybe having you share with us what got you into Kambo. Everybody has a story. So what is your story? How did you end up becoming a Kambo practitioner?
Well, as you were mentioning before, we are always in personal, we're always looking for something more. I think deep down in our soul, we know that we are whole and complete, but sometimes it feels like we are not. It feels that something is not working right. You name it, in our physical body, in our emotions, in our psyche, everything. So since I was really small, I was always looking, trying to be like a teacher. At certain point in my life, I wanted to be a priest, and also wanted to be a doctor. In fact, I took 1 year of medical school in Mexico, and that always was pretty important for me to try to teach others, to heal, to not only for myself but to others. And my quest started since I was really small. And but a few years ago, more or less like 5 years ago, I happened to visit Guadalajara, Mexico, on a business trip. And I was having a conversation with one of my cousins that we gathered to share a meal. And suddenly she started mentioning ayahuasca, and I said, "What is that?" And she started explaining about the visions and how the medicine shows you your wounds and your traumas and how you heal that. And then suddenly I told her, I really would like to try that. And I tried that same weekend. There was an opening, so I tried one time, and then I came back to the States, and I found a group here, and I started taking ayahuasca. And long story short, someone over there was serving Kambu, so I decided to take it, and I took it a few times, and I saw the benefits. I saw that I was calmer, I was like peaceful. Several body aches, like knee pain and something like that, started to disappear. And since then, I started in the back of my mind, maybe I can become a Kambo practitioner. But I let it be. I was basically meditating on it and praying and saying, I want to follow. I want to know if it's like my call. I just don't want to do it because, oh, it's something not I can do. And I over time and coincidences, like we were talking, I realized that yes, it was a call. So I decided to get certified, and I took the training, the basic practitioner training, and I started serving this medicine to myself. I have taken a lot of Kambo and serving other people, and from them I continue practicing, taking advanced courses and trainings, and right now I'm also teaching people to become Kambo practitioners. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. And there's usually always a story behind that. And there's also a lot of hesitancy, as you were saying, when you almost feel like, am I called to administer this? Am I called to teach? Because a lot of people struggle with, well, we don't want we don't want it to be our ego that is
Yes.
leading us, but we really want to be coming from the heart, because there's a lot of, I think, misinterpretation sometimes with that.
Yes.
So, but it appears that most people that I have talked to, like yourself, it's something that has been in them since they were a child, and they just kind of like, oh, we're not sure of what it was. And just kind of what you were saying, that, your studies and your theological studies and so forth, that probably was something that even prompted you maybe to start working with it in a sacred realm, because it's not in a realm where people go and seek this type of work to become. It's not an egotistic thing. It's more of a spiritual and a physical healing. Is that correct? And especially with Kambo, so if you can just kind of tell us, what exactly is Kambo?
Yeah, you were talking a really important topic. I think it's pretty important to know that when we are called, we find satisfaction, find joy and happiness in serving others and seeing how what we are doing, whatever we do, not necessarily Kambo, is even being a doctor, being an architect, is whatever you do is just being of service and having that satisfaction that your clients, customers are being, or patients, if you are in the physician, are being helped, and that's even better than money, seeing that satisfaction.
Yeah.
Now, you were talking about Kambo. What's exactly your question?
What it is. So for our listeners, what
Kambo,
is Kambo?
well, Kambo is there's a legend, the legend of Kambu, and Kambu supposedly was a shaman in Brazil many years ago. And as we know, with legends, there's nothing written, and we don't know if it's true or not. But this shaman Kampu was basically kind of frustrated that he could not heal his people or help them the way he should. So the legend says that he went and visited with the madre, with the ayahuasca. I imagine it was ayahuasca. And during his experience, his ceremony, the same madre showed him how to find the frog, how to take the secretion from the frog without harming, and how to apply. So that's why when his name was Kampur, Kampun, that's why right now we know it as Kambu with K. So, and supposedly when this shaman passed away, the legend says that his spirit is in the frog, something like that. I mean, and there's many variations of the legend. Some people could say, no, that's not accurate, but as we know, in a nutshell, that's what it is. Basically, there's a frog in the Amazon forest in parts of Peru, Brazil, and I think I don't know if in the Amazon forest in Colombia is located, but in a few countries. That there's this frog, is the Philomedusa bicolor frog. It's a green frog. Is the tree frog, the monkey frog. And she produces, and I call her she because for me, in my own opinion, is a female energy, but that's my own Google thing. So if you wanted to call it him or whatever, that's fine. So this beautiful animal produces a secretion in her body. Until now, we were believing that is to defend herself against predators. However, there's some I have heard and read some reports that claim that it's possible that she uses that for as a sunscreen to protect herself against the sun. We don't know. There's not science behind it. I mean, there's not enough studies behind it. So, but what happened is that this secretion contains several bioactive peptides. It does not contain any psychoactives on it. And this is an animal medicine. We usually, in the realm of the plant medicines, we call plant medicines to everything in general. But there's a distinction that is important to know between plant medicine and animal medicine. This is an animal medicine. And as well, it's important to know that we call it medicine in the realm of the Amazon forest, with the indigenous people, and on the communities that we practice this type of ceremonies and medicine. Is not at all a medicine in the standards, Western standards. That's pretty important to clarify. So this secretion is collected without harming the frog, and put in a tiny sticks of wood, and is dry. Once it's dry, then it's reactivated with water. There's some indigenous people that they spit on the Kambo stick, and they reactivate that with a knife. And what the way it's done is basically they apply some burns into the skin. Those burns are small and superficial, just to peel off the first layers of the skin. And then the secretion is applied there, because the secretion is going to enter the body through the lymphatic system. It does not enter the blood system. And once Kambo is in the system, it causes different symptoms and reactions, like heart rate goes up, blood pressure could go up or down, nausea, being a sensation like buzzing, and the ultimate, what happened most of the time, not always, is that people ended up vomiting, purging, and that's why it's important to have some water during the session, in order to vomit toxins. We believe that there's a lot of toxins, and that the liver cleanses and everything. But as I'm saying, there's not that much research in that. What I could say, for the years of experience that I have using this myself and administering this secretion to other people, what I can say is that it brings some sense of relief, of peace, of being quiet, calm. And at the same time, many people, including myself, claim that we can get better in many of our illnesses or symptoms that we have been experiencing. I mean, for my personal account, I can share that my migraine stopped completely. I stopped all medication for high cholesterol. And then the good side as well is that I don't drink coffee anymore, and I don't drink wine. That little by little, with the use of Kambo, I imagine that's what happened in the positive.
Eduardo, what you mentioned is very important, and I do want to follow it up with a two-part question. The
Okay.
first one is, why do you think there is more and more people nowadays, more than ever before, kind of just exploring alternative medicine, plant medicine, animal medicine, and other medicines? Why is that interest increasing? And also, in your experience working with the frog, what do you think are the top reasons why people go and look for Kambo as an alternative animal medicine, or remedy for whatever is going on in their life? So what are the top things that you see, and why do you think there is that increase in interest?
Okay, I think there's an increased interest. That's my personal opinion, because we are coming to believe that, in general, that there's something else over there, something that should be natural, that should be in flow with nature, and not necessarily just popping pills or injections. That believe me, and I want to be clear, Normal medicine, as we know with physicians, is fabulous in many things. In many things, is fabulous. And I mean, if we have a broken arm and we need surgery, we need surgery, and that's fabulous. But there are other things that I think people start looking into alternatives and not necessarily the traditional medicine, because maybe it's a personal choice. I think some people want to be try other things differently to work other modalities, and it's not only with plant and animal medicines. We see it as well a boom in Reiki, in energy healing, in meditation, and what I do believe is that deep down we are as a community, global community, we are awakening to the truth of who we really are. And our through, I do believe personally, is that is deep down in ourselves. And these modalities that are natural, that are not, that are there for thousands of years, or we don't know when they discovered them, the shamans or whoever started doing these plant and animal medicines. Those are natural things that also is pretty important. I think that in the age of communication, like today with the internet, with social media, with that we can basically in nanoseconds see in live what's going on. As a community, global community, we are learning more faster what's going on and what's there. And if you think about it, before the internet, that I remember before the internet, it was everything by the news and the TV, or by magazines or newspapers. So everything traveled really slow. And nowadays is a boom. Information is there. So I think that's why people is looking for alternatives to their own healing. And like you were saying, Dr. Linda, before, is that what I do believe as well is that uh, people really know deep down, we know that we are basically whole and complete, but we don't feel like that. And what I do believe, and that's a personal opinion, is what I do believe is that the medicines and any modality are only tools that help us to reconnect who we really are. I do believe that no medicine, no modality should be worshipped as the only thing. We are humans, and we are made of all the elements basically, and not just one thing is going to work for us. I mean, grabbing what we can in order to help us in our body, in our mind, in our spirit is essential.
So why Kambo? Why do you have to take it? Well, it's applied to the skin, so it can't be taken orally, or can it? Because there's so many different other earth medicines or plant medicines that are taken in different avenues. So why is it that Kambo can't be taken orally? And because so many times when we see something like this, Americans or other people will want to kind of jump on the bandwagon, so to speak, and start creating other things of it. Say, oh, now you can get it in a liquid form. Oh, now you can get it in a powder form, and you can consume it as a tea or whatever. Can Kambo be taken that way or not? Or why does it have to be applied topically?
Well, the number one reason is that the Kambo only works if it enters the lymphatic system. And of course, if we put Kambo in the tongue, we start feeling it, because that part also enters the lymphatic system, or for instance, in the nose or the anus, it works. However, the safest way to do it is through the skin. And that's why we apply, we do small superficial burns to put the Kambo right there. I mean, I have not heard of anyone trying to take it orally, like ingesting it. I think it will be really bad. It could cause death, I imagine.
I think Fernanda's muted. We can't hear you.
There we go. I think there is an echo here, so I keep muting
Okay.
myself. Going into, if anybody in the audience is listening and they are interested in trying Kambo, knowing that everything that you have shared about Kambo today, who makes a good candidate and who makes maybe perhaps not a good candidate? Are there any restrictions on who can use it or who cannot use it? Anyone who may have a contraindication to actually try Kambo?
Yes, there are contraindications, and there may be some practitioners over there that they would say, because I have encountered them, that there are not contraindications. However, there are. What happens is that Kambo produces a lot, as I was mentioning before, several reactions. The blood pressure could go up, the blood pressure could go down, heart rate goes up and down. So it's pretty important to know that serious conditions, for instance, like heart, having a bypass surgery, pacemaker, heart issues, and there's a list of many contraindications that is important to know. In fact, when a client contacts me and wants Kambo, I always send an email with all the contraindications and with the cautions, and we discuss that also in person before doing a ceremony, because it's pretty important for everybody to know that even if we want to do something, not only Kambo, even ayahuasca or any other medicine, it's pretty important to know if we are a good candidate to receive that, because the most important thing for me as practitioner is the safety of my clients.
Right.
If my clients are safe, I am safe, the medicine is safe, and I call it medicine. I mean, Kambo is safe, everything is in order.
And the interesting thing is with, as you were saying, in other countries, it could be considered medicine. Sometimes in the States here, they could be considered as, especially with working even like with ayahuasca, although you're working with a hallucinogenic drug, that's not a medicine. So a lot of it, I think, is just perspective, depending on where what country you reside in. However, kind of what I've been reading, we chatted a little bit about this prior to coming on live here, that theoretically, it is thought that the Kambo secretion that they are getting from the frog has peptides in it, and a lot of us are familiar with peptides, which are basically little they're amino acids, and the most common one that probably a good percentage of people are consuming would be like collagen.
Mm-hmm.
However, peptides impact, and there's even neuropeptides that impact different systems in the body, so that there's a physiological impact. Example, when people take the Kambo, or when it's on them, they purge, they throw up. So there's a physiological response from a neuropeptide, let's just say action activity that's occurring. So that being the case, is that the reason why animals don't touch the frog? Because they're just like, that's going to happen to them if they do that, because they're consuming and they're touching it in a different way. Is it safe to say that?
Yeah, because I imagine that that's the case, because when we as I was telling, I tried one time putting a little bit of Kambo, like 2 seconds on my tongue, and right away I started feeling the symptoms. So I just did this, and I say, yeah. So I imagine that what we feel during Kambo, the animals feel it when they try to grab the frog. So that's why they don't touch it.
That's why they don't go near it. And I know that personally, and I know other people that have felt this. I don't know what you felt, Fernanda, but working with it, it's almost like you had like spidey senses. You were just alert, and it was just like everything was just more colorful. Um, wasn't as tired. I felt like I had like a boost of energy, and it was probably a physiological. I'm just theoretically speaking for myself and with other people that personally I know that have worked with it. Um, there's a big change with physically with their body, and of course, there's very limited research because big pharma cannot make money off of this. So
Yes.
it's kind of limited with the research, and there is some research behind it. And even I was reading about even that they were doing some sort of patent work with the Kambo. However, there's always has to be some financial backing for that, and there's not a lot of people that are going to invest all their money into something of this sort unless you're a billionaire who really doesn't want anything to gain from it. Basically, just the benefits that everybody can, that a lot of people, I shouldn't say everybody, that a lot of people can have from working with this. Is that safe to say? Fair enough to say?
Yes, yes, I imagine. I really wish that we could get some financial backing in order to run more studies, scientific research into Kambo, into the like you were saying, Linda, into the all the physiology, what happens during the session, to have be all hooked up with all type of medical devices and also chemically see what's going on exactly at what point during a conversation. I think it will be really, really beautiful to have something like that.
So, Eduardo, when someone is wanting to experience Kambo and they get in contact with a Kambo expert or practitioner, what can they expect as far as the ceremony goes?
Well, all practitioners are different and maybe trained in a different with a different association or institution or with a different person or shaman or whatever. But the basic thing is that when you go to a ceremony, it's a ceremony. For me, it's a ceremony because it's a place, safe place in which you are opening yourself up, and the person who is serving the Kambo has to hold space for you, a space of not judgment, of supporting, and also being there for you 100%, mind, body, and spirit, there for you, basically going with you in your journey. Ultimately, the journey is going to be within the frog and yourself as a client, and that's why for me is a ceremony. So basically, in my ceremonies, what I do is I smudge, open the ceremony. We pray, respecting the beliefs of each person. If I sometimes invite the persons, the clients to share or to pray whatever they want. And then we talk about intentions, what they are looking for into for the session, and then we talk a little bit about contraindications, just making sure again that the person is fit and ready to be and able to receive Kambo in a safe way. After that, we start the ceremony. Sometimes I offer a couple more medicines. One is Sananga, eye drops from the Amazon forest, and the other one is Rapé, that is a powder tobacco. That is a powder that the shamans or the tribes prepare. That the base is tobacco and wood ashes, and that's being blown into the nostrils and helps calm and center and ground. Sometimes I offer those before the ceremony, sometimes not after or whatever. And then the ceremony, basically a Kambo in your system stays usually more or less 20 minutes, a little bit less, a little bit more. And then during that time, I open the gates, I put music. Many times I sing a cappella, I sing different Icaros that are proper for Kambo. Inviting the spirit of the frog. I do believe that every animal, every plant, all of us have our own spirit that ultimately is one with universe, with God, whatever you want to call it. And I do respect that a lot and allow myself to be guided with the spirit of the universe of God and the frog, and then open the gates. The gates, we call them gates to the small burns, and then the client starts drinking water, and then I apply the Kambo. As I was saying, Kambo stays more or less like 20 minutes. And most of the time, towards the end, the client, the person vomits, but not necessary. There are many ways of purging. And purging in Kambo, the most common is by vomiting. However, I have seen many accounts in which the person does not vomit, but there's other types of releasing. And it could be by going to the bathroom and poop. It could be by crying. It could be by laughing. It could be by shaking, by sweating, by screaming. And that's why it's important to have someone, a practitioner, who really truly holds space in a not judgmental way for you, in which you feel safe, in which you feel that it's okay. Whatever happens is okay. And um, and this release, the beautiful thing about Kambo is that we do not need to know what you are releasing, what you are letting go. The beautiful thing is that just allow to happen, allow to receive whatever the spirit of that beautiful medicine is giving you, the beautiful frog is giving you, and you just allow it, just be there. And after that, more or less those 20 minutes, I clean the Kambo, the client rests laying down while there's beautiful music. Sometimes I play my guitar and sing, and the person rests. And the amazing thing is that once you clean the Kambo from the skin, you start feeling well right away. Right away, the symptoms disappear, and you start feeling really calm, really like, oh my God, I can breathe. And you feel tired, physically tired, but you feel amazing. So many smiles I have seen after the Kambu ceremony, that it really fills my heart up with happiness to see the before, how they how they arrive, and how they feel the after. There's that smile, that happiness, that, oh my God, I feel new, I feel amazing, I feel calm, I feel happy. So it's beautiful.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I personally experienced a lot of peace over the next days and even weeks after doing Campbell, and that feeling that not necessarily what I experienced on the first 20 minutes when I was experiencing the effects of Campbell, but the feelings that I experienced afterwards were absolutely beautiful, and it's an experience that I did not even experience with Aya. It was a different experience with Aya. It was a beautiful experience with Aya, but it was different with Campbell. And so I have to agree with that, that maybe in the moment is like, okay, I'm experiencing like all these purging and like sweating and hot flashes and everything. But afterwards, that peace and that calmness that comes is just amazing. I do want to thank you, Eduardo, for coming. I have to go right now. Unfortunately, I have something to do right now, but I want to thank you for being here. Dr. Linda, it's going to stay here with you. But I wanted to give you my special gratitude and thanks for showing up and for giving us so much beautiful information and sharing so much of you with our audience. So thank you.
Thank you, Fernanda.
Thank you, Dr. Linda.
We'll see you next week, Fernanda. And a couple other things I just wanted to mention. Well, first of all, Eduardo, I just really just want to acknowledge you and just thank you, because you're bringing your gifts and your talents and you're sharing them with other people. And that truly does impact the world. And so many of us think, with a lot of, we can look at them as opportunities that are going on in the world. Some of them people may think, oh, this is like the worst time ever. But really, I think it's perspective. It's opportunities for us to bring our gifts and talents that maybe we've been working on for a long time, and actually share them with others. In essence, when we are striving to be better versions of ourselves and sharing our gifts and talents, we are impacting the world. And I want to acknowledge you for doing that, because you impact one person that can impact another and another, and it just has a tremendous ripple effect. And so many people don't do that for the fear of being maybe ridiculed or thinking, oh, you're weird or you're strange, but weird is supernatural.
Yes.
So I would rather be called weird, because then that makes me supernatural. And so I want to acknowledge you and just thank you for that, because I could just feel your presence and just your kindness and the depth of love that you really have for humanity. And I'm looking forward to personally working with you and just meeting you and just being in your space and in your energy, because just that alone, that really helps a lot of people, just being in that loving space, kind of like a church where, you just feel like, I feel loved and not judged. So thank you so much for that. I really just wanted to acknowledge you for just the person that you are.
Thank you.
Where can people find you? What's your website, Instagram, Facebook? Where can we find you?
My website is kambomex.com. Maybe I can type it here, or...
Yep, and I'll put that in the notes here, kambomex.com, and also Instagram, and I believe Facebook page. You can also, that's where we can find you as well.
Instagram and Facebook are Kambomex as well.
Awesome. Okay, I love it. kambomex.com. So
yes.
Thank you so much for just sharing once again. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you. And I know a lot of people are going to get benefit and be excited of their unlimited possibilities within themselves. So thanks so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, see everyone next week. See ya. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.